Chicago has always been a city that refuses to stand still. Today we talk about Chicago City's culture and history. Whether in times of economic hardship or times of rapid growth, the city finds a way to reinvent itself. In the 1930s, Chicago was shaped by the Great Depression, cultural transformation, and architectural ambition. In 2025, it stands as a global center of business, culture, and technology. Let's explore how much has changed and how much of Chicago's soul remains the same. In the early 1930s, the Great Depression was at its peak. Chicago, like the rest of America, felt the impact deeply. Unemployment rates soared, factories slowed down, and families across the city struggled to make ends meet. Bread lines stretched down sidewalks. Soup kitchens, like the famous one funded by Al Capone, served thousands every day. Life was tough, uncertain, and for many, survival was the only priority. Yet even in this difficult time, Chicago never lost its heartbeat. The city was a major industrial powerhouse. Railroads connected Chicago to every corner of the nation. Steel mills, manufacturing plants, and the world-famous stockyards kept the economy moving. Workers, despite the hardship, continued to push the city forward. The 1930s were also a fascinating time culturally. The Prohibition era had just ended in 1933, but its influence was still felt. Speakeasies, jazz clubs, and underground nightlife created an exciting, rebellious atmosphere. Bronzeville became known as the Black Metropolis, home to musicians, artists, and writers who shaped Chicago's cultural identity. Jazz legends performed nightly, filling the air with music that brought hope during dark times. Architecture also played a major role in defining the 1930s cityscape. Chicago was already known for its skyline, and during this decade, iconic structures like the Chicago Board of Trade building stood tall as symbols of resilience. Even in a struggling economy, Chicago continued to innovate a trait that would define the city for generations. As the decades passed, Chicago transformed. The factories faded, the stockyards closed, and the city shifted from heavy industry to business, education, and technology. Neighborhoods changed, the skyline grew, and the lakefront was redesigned into one of the most beautiful urban spaces in America. By the time we arrive in 2020, we're looking at a completely different world, yet one still connected to its past. Modern Chicago is a city of innovation and global influence. The skyline is one of the world's most recognizable, filled with architectural achievements like the Willis Tower, the John Hancock Center, and the futuristic St. Regis Chicago. Glass, steel, and modern designs stretch high into the sky far beyond the city's 1930s limits. The lakefront, once crowded with industries and train lines, is now a place of beauty. Millennium Park attracts millions each year with its iconic cloud gate sculpture known worldwide as the Bean. The Chicago River, once polluted and industrial, has been transformed into a vibrant riverwalk filled with restaurants, paths, and scenic views. Transportation has also evolved. Electric buses, improved train lines, rideshare services, and bike-friendly streets have made navigating the city easier and cleaner than ever. Chicago is also pushing toward sustainability, investing in green buildings and renewable energy. Culturally, Chicago remains as diverse and energetic as ever. From food to music to festivals, the city celebrates its multicultural heritage. Deep dish pizza, jazz nights, dive theaters, and major sports teams continue to define Chicago's identity. New generations bring fresh ideas, turning Chicago into a hub for technology startups, medical research, and global business. Despite all this progress, one thing hasn't changed: the strength of its people. Chicagoans still have the same hardworking, determined spirit that carried the city through the 1930s. The faces and buildings may be different, but the character of the city remains the same. So when we compare Chicago of the 1930s to Chicago in 2025, we see more than just the difference between old buildings and new skyscrapers. We see a story of resilience, reinvention, and unwavering spirit. A city that once struggled through economic hardship has grown into one of the most modern, admired, and influential cities in the world. Chicago has changed, but its soul, its history, and its determination live on. This is Chicago, then and now.